This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2018 Sunset Trail model 33 CK. So I'm on the door side of the trailer, walking back towards the rear. Okay, so first thing to see is that there's a LP quick connect right there. Let me adjust my monitor. There we go, right there. LP quick connect. The reason it's there because you have an LP hose here, and you'll have to connect this cooktop right here to the quick connect. You can do that by connecting at the one end back here of the hose, and then the other end will go on the other quick connect there. So, and this is the hose there. So you have to, bottom line is you have to plug in the LP hose to use this cooktop. All right. So you also have a 110 volt AC refrigerator. As soon as you turn on or plug in the trailer, that will turn on. All right. You got a long power awning that runs the length of the trailer, or I guess 2/3 of the length of the trailer at least. With a lighted LED strip, you got outside speakers here. Your steps fold into the trailer. If you're on uneven terrain, you have to remember you can adjust it by pulling these pins. There's one on each leg. You get me there? I'm a lousy cameraman here. Bear with me. How come I don't see my hand? Okay. There we go. Because I wasn't even close, that's why. So you can pull this pin out. There's one for each leg, and you can adjust the length of the leg for the terrain. All right. You have ground control automatic leveling system on this one. It's a 4-point system, and actually it's 5-point. I believe let me look. Yeah, your tongue jack is part of the leveling system also. So it will, let's say if you're raising the rear end, it'll pull up the jack, the ram of the jack, so it doesn't get bent, things like that. So it works with the rest of the system. All right. So you got 2 LP tanks that are filled. You got a deep cycle marine battery right there. This is part of your Hitch system. Of course, we'll show you that. This hookup right here, this is just in case you wanted to put a solar battery charger on here. It's basically just a solar panel that would plug into there and charge your battery. That's all it is. Doesn't run the trailer or anything like that, just charges your battery. Also, while I'm standing here, you have a power tongue jack like we talked about. You can pull this plug right here, and you can use a 3/4 inch socket or a 3/4 inch crank and actually crank this manually if it happened to fail. So if it fails, you can always crank it manually. All right, so this is your hitch. We'll show you how that works when you come to pick up. It's a weight distribution hitch, of course. And this is your, I'll just light it up here. This is your automatic leveling system. The directions are right above it. It's pretty simple. You auto level here. So you're just gonna push the auto level, it's gonna level it. The reason I tell you your voltage here, 13.8, I can't see the other one. We'll just call it 80 because I can't see the other number, but it's telling you that your battery is all the way charged. That's important because it will not work if the battery gets much below 12 volts, right? So it needs full power battery in order to function. So that's why it tells you how many volts you have. But that's no problem. Your tow vehicle will charge the battery, obviously, and so will your power converter when you're plugged in. So it'll always be charged up. You can retract it pushing this. You can scroll through it. Let's see if you can see. Auto hitch height. Auto hitch height means they're gonna put the front end, the tongue jack, to the same height it was the last time it was hitched up. So it always remembers the last hitch height, and it'll return it to that. That's what you'll use most of the time when you're unhitching. But you can also go into manual mode, so on and so forth. Okay? Very basic stuff, but like I said, the directions are right above it, so you can always refer to those if you're not familiar with it. Okay, so the 2 ways to get water to this trailer. The most common way is the city water connection. That's what you're going to use 9 out of 10 times. Just hook up the city water, turn it on, and you're all set. Sometimes if you go to a campground that does not have plumbing on the campsites, either a more rustic federal campground or private campground that's rustic, or some of the older state parks have fill stations when you first go in the gate, but they don't have plumbing on the campsite, you can pre-fill this onboard fresh water tank right here, and then use the onboard pump to pump the water. So everything will operate just like you have city water, even though you're carrying onboard water. All right. So your dump valves, you see you got your black valve on the left, you got your gray valve on the right. You're going to put your hose right on there. Of course, the other end goes to the dump station. Then you're going to dump the black one first. The reason you dump the black first is because it's toilet water and waste, and it's dirtier than the gray water. So you'll dump the gray water second, which is sink and shower water. That way it'll help to clean out the hose from the black water. But if you keep the black valve open, you can come up here and hook the hose right here to this flush. This is a black tank flush. You always have to have that valve open because you don't want too much pressure buildup, but you hook the hose on here, turn it on, it'll actually spray the inside of the black tank, clean it out, generally speaking, clean off the sensors specifically, so it'll keep your sensors and your levels reading accurately if you flush it each time after you use it. You got a second gray flush or gray dump right here. Okay, so that's separate of the other two. This is your water heater. The switches to operate it are inside the trailer. Right now the plug is out for some reason, but by the time you pick it up it will be ready to operate. It's still in bypass mode right now, it looks like. So we will make sure that's ready to go. The thing is, like I said, the switches to operate it are inside, but there are also bypass valves on the back. That has to do with winterizing. If you're not familiar with it, you'll have to educate yourself a bit about it. But you have to bypass the water heater before you pump any antifreeze in when you're winterizing. You do that so you don't get water or antifreeze in the tank. It leaves a foul taste and a bad smell, and you don't want it in there. So keep that in mind. Also, never pull the valve, the venting valve, or you never pressure release valve. You never pull the plug unless the water's cooled down. I know that's pretty obvious, but some people forget that, and you can scald yourself or worse really quickly if you do that. So, all right. Then you've got, of course, a rack that comes down to carry stuff on. You have this housing up here tells us that it's pre-wired for a backup camera. So you can, that's a Furion camera, so you have to get the one that fits in there. If you get one, we sell them here, but no matter where you get it from, just make sure you get the right one that fits in there. Also, while we're looking up, you have to inspect your roof every 90 days or 3 times a season. Is what the manufacturer recommends. So you go up there in the spring, once in the middle of summer, once in the fall. You go up there yourself or have someone else to go up there. Look at all the sealant down the roof. Make sure it's all good and tight, no cracks, no separation. And if you do see that, sometime you will, all trailers need to be touched up. You get it taken care of immediately. That's why you're inspecting it, just to make sure that it doesn't need any attention. Okay, so let's go inside. Okay, so let me get some light here, hold on. Okay, so this is your control panel here. You can check your battery right here, it's charged. Fresh water's empty, black water's empty, gray 1 and gray 2 are all empty. I told you the switches to operate are in here, so the electric switch to run the water heater on electric is right here. The light on gas is right there. Most people just use electric, of course. Now keep in mind, you got to have water in the water heater tank before you turn it on. If you don't, that's called dry firing, and you'll damage it, and that's not a warranty issue, so you always want to make sure you have water in the tank. You have your slide outs here. Okay. And of course your awning right here. So you got your 3 slide outs and then your awning. The awning just basically goes out 8 feet. As you can see. When it gets all the way out, you'll be able to see the awning tube, so you know it's all the way out. Never leave it out unattended. If you're leaving the campsite, you roll it in. Otherwise the wind can damage it in just a split second, and you have to make an insurance claim on it and go through all that hassle. So make sure you always roll it in when you're not there. Okay. Your thermostat is simple. You just hit the mode button once to light it up, and then you can go through it. Fan. You always want to run it on auto if you can. Cool auto for air conditioning. Heat, and then back to off. The fan is just the air conditioner running without the compressor, so it just circulates air. That's what they mean by fan. Always try to leave them on auto. Also, this is the LP gas detector, so you always want to make sure that that's green like it is, and it should always stay green. If it's not, you get it serviced. If it goes off, obviously you take everybody outside, leave the door open, shut the gas off at the front, and then figure out what's going on. Alright, this is a GFCI. All the plugs are wired through GFCI, so even the plug on the outside, if that was to blow, if you're using a coffee pot or whatever and it was to trip, then you would reset it in here. The sink and the shower work like any other sink and shower for the most part. Okay. The toilet, you have to remember, if you haven't used an RV toilet, you have to have water and you have to have chemical in it. So when you get to the campground, you hook up your water and your power, obviously. Then you're going to come inside. Here, this is the flush bell right here. The black tank is directly below, so the black tank is empty. So because it's empty, you put chemical in here first, whichever chemical you use, 1 dose. Then because the water's hooked up, water will actually come out when I flush it. But if you stand on it, water will come swirling out. And you put about a gallon or so of water in there, along with the chemical. It doesn't have to be exact. The bottom line is you can't run it dry. So you got to have some water and chemical in it before you start using it. Anytime you dump the black tank and you're going to start using the toilet again, you repeat that procedure. So believe me, you'll only do it once if you do it. If you don't do it, I should say, because it'll make a mess and it stinks, and you can just imagine. So you got to have some water and chemical in it. Okay, your air conditioner here, or I'm sorry, I'm looking up at the hole there. Your bedroom here is pre-wired for a second air conditioner, so that's what this sticker is going to be saying to us on this plate. But you can just drop in a thermos or air conditioner with a ceiling panel that has the controls right on the panel, so you can run this separately from the other air conditioners, and you just it's pre-wired for that, so it's a pretty simple install. Okay, and here's the TV. It looks like they hung a TV up for you, which is good. Okay, let me come on through. Go into the living area. So another TV. This fireplace, what you can set, basically adjust the appearance of the flame. You can set the fan on off, lower, high, so it's a space heater. You've got a thermostat on it plus a timer, so you can pretty much use it as a space heater, and it'll really take the chill out of this room early in the morning, late at night, whatever, so you don't really have to always use your LP. You can get away with just firing this up at times and save your gas for when you really need it. So, okay. Also, I'm looking around here, I'm trying to see what's what. There it is. Okay, so this is your radio here. Also plays discs, of course, CDs and DVDs. You can stream off this USB right here. Put all your albums on one stick and take them with you. You can hook up wirelessly with Bluetooth, playing your MP3s or MP4s from your phone or tablet. You can stream. And you have 2 speaker zones. 1 is inside, 2 is outside the trailer. So there's a lot you can do with it. And certainly for camping, it does everything you need and then some. So, all right. So let's see. Okay, so we come down here. Your microwave works like any other microwave. Your range hood has got a fan and a light. Now your range itself, I don't know if he's got the gas turned on, so if not, I'll just talk you through it. But basically, you're just going to spark it. That's all. You'll go to light right there, and then you're going to spark it. And it actually does have the gas on. So when you see that lit when you spark it, you just turn the sparker clockwise to light it. Now with the oven, it's a little different. You have to have a grill lighter. Down here at the bottom, all the way to the back, is a pilot light. So what you do is you go to the oven knob, you go to pilot, and then you're going to depress it. You hold it on, you keep depressing it, then you'll take your grill lighter and light the pilot light back there. Once it lights, you're going to still be holding this in. You'll wait another 10 seconds after it lit so it can heat up. Then you go to operating temperature, and it cycles as an oven does, but when you shut it off, the flame obviously goes out, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight it each time. The refrigerator is just, it's a gas absorption refrigerator. It's very simple. A is for auto. You want auto. They're saying auto with electric as parameters. So what happens is it always searches out electricity. If it can't find it, it'll switch to gas automatically. If you're camping and you have a power outage during the day and nobody's at the campsite, it'll automatically switch over to gas, so it'll spoil your food. Now you can push the mode button and run it just on electricity or just on gas. But if you do auto, it's always gonna find electricity first, and if it doesn't have it, it'll go to gas. Okay, pretty basic. You got, of course, a chiller here for beverages. This is a this is the power converter. So what this does, it converts 110 AC to 12 volt DC. So you see you got regular household circuit breakers here. They're 110 AC and they're labeled. Then you've got regular 12 volt fuses here and they're all labeled. So it converts the 110 AC over to 12 volt DC. If any of these fuses were to blow, they'll actually light up and you can see them glowing through this tinted plastic here, right here. Okay. Also, when you're plugged in, this is a battery tender, so it'll sense how much energy your battery has up front, and it'll always keep it charged. If it's low, it'll send 10 amps up there. If it's charged, it'll trickle a couple, whatever it needs to do to keep your battery charged. That's as long as you're plugged into shore power. Okay. So that's where the 12 volt comes from. All right, so you have theater seating, of course. This is all self-explanatory. Let's see what kind of couch you have here. All right, so this is a fold-out hide-a-bed. It's a 3-panel foam hide-a-bed. So you're basically going to take the back panels off and set them aside, the back cushions. Then you're going to grab it right down here and pull this out, and fold the legs down, and then fold the back into position, and you'll have a 3-panel foam hide-a-bed. It's actually a decent hide-a-bed to sleep on. It's not like they used to be where they had springs and a bar in your back and all that. It's not so bad. Okay. Okay, so I think that covers it. Let me just walk around here and see if I forgot anything. I don't think I have. Okay. All right, so I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Remember what I said about inspecting your roof? It's got to be done on a regular basis. Like I said, the manufacturer says every 90 days or 3 times a season. That's important. Also, you have to winterize it in the fall, so make sure you get that taken care of. And most of all, you got to use it a lot to get the full amount of adventure out of it. So, thank you very much, and goodbye.